Hello everyone, I'm Havoc and this is All the Mods 6. We are back at it yet again today and I've got a few things to show you. So, I've made a few changes. I've moved our smeltery out, expanded our processes here for refined storage and lots of good things. And we're going to get into a lot of that today. However, first, we need to get some stuff underway. I'm going to go over a few things that I have learned about recently that I didn't know about really or have anything to do with prior to now. And number one is flux points, flux networks, flux plugs, all these awesome things. So we are going to go over how this is done and how this mod works. I've got a little area over here that I always make a mess in Overworld. That's weird. My free runners are disabled. Oops. I was carrying a few soul receptacles around and one just saved my life just then. Let's see, how did I disable that exactly? There we go. B. Now they won't let me die anymore. However, that's not what we're worried about. Let's turn our magnet off. Our lovely advanced magnets. Awesome. And we are going to throw some redstone out in such a way that it will not come back to us by placing down a little bit of cobble to kind of corner it in. And let's get my hover mode on. I don't want to pick these back up. I just want them to be sitting on top of the bedrock right there. And then you put a piece of obsidian above them. Now, you don't have to have these other blocks here. I put them there so I wouldn't accidentally bump into that. If you left click this, it makes a big boom. And what do we have right here? Flux dust. It turned all of that redstone dust into flux dust. It says obtained by compressing redstone dust with bedrock and obsidian. So that's what we just did. And it's amazing. This flux dust, also matter receiver, advanced charge porter, very wonderful for getting back to base quickly. This stuff is used all over the place in the Flux Networks mod. And I needed quite a lot of it. We're going to toss it into the system and we're going to look at number one, how am I moving energy around my base? And that is with the flux plugs and flux points. So the flux point provides energy to an adjacent block, removing it from your network. So that's your power provider. Whenever you're trying to power a machine, you drop a flux point down and you power your machine. Now, when you're trying to put power into your system, into your network, you use a plug. And I think about it, you're plugging the power in. So the flux plug receives energy from adjacent blocks, adding it to your flux network. These are not that hard to make. Let's go over the recipe real fast. Flux blocks are these flux cores and that flux dust that we just made, and flux cores are obsidian, flux dust, and ender eyes. It's all very simple. I'm going to make sure I do not have recipes in here already. We're going to go over just a few things here on how to make this, and I'm going to kind of automate this. So from now on, I can just tell my system, hey, I need X number of this or X number of that, and just grab it, and it's not a big deal. So let's see. We need to dive down to the cheapest point or the lowest point, and that's going to be making the ender eye, right? And I don't think I have Eyes of Ender programmed in here. I do not. So we will go ahead and tell it, hey, you throw an ender pearl and a blaze powder together and you're going to get an Eye of Ender. And we're just going to throw a few recipes in here real fast. Next up is going to be this Flux Core, which uses obsidian, which I've got plenty of in the system, the flux dust we just made, and then the Eyes of Enders we've learned how to make. We're going to take those, add it in. And the reason these are so big, in case you're wondering, I don't think I covered this yet, is that I've made diamond crafters for refined storage. And the diamond crafters, number one, they're absurdly fast. If you look in the top left, you'll see current speed is times 45, and then occupied spaces, they have 63 slots for you to put patterns in. Now, just for a reference here, if I make a regular crafter, this is just the crafter that comes with refined storage, it has 9 slots. That's it. 9 pattern slots. That's not a lot. That's not very useful. So someone, I don't know who, I haven't looked it up, but someone added in what's called the extra storage mod, and they give you these extra crafters and a few other things. If we just look at it real fast. Extra storage gives you the extra storage disk. Oh, an infinite storage block. Wow, that's really interesting. I haven't even noticed some of these things yet. The advanced importers and exporters, lots of really good additions to refined storage, and including the iron crafter, gold crafter, diamond crafter, and netherite crafter. I haven't made this yet. It's a bit expensive, 4 blocks of netherite. I'm still working on some stuff right now. So those are very helpful. Little detour there to make sure y'all knew what was going on with those. Now we've got the flux cores, right? Did I put that one in there? Yep, sure enough, right there. So now what I want to do is say, hey, learn how to make these flux blocks. They're used in a lot of the recipes right here. And I also happen to know that redstone blocks are used, and I know how to make redstone blocks. Okay, just making sure, because the flux plug itself, right, the thing you put energy into your system with, takes the flux block and some of the flux cores, but the point takes a block of redstone. That's why I wanted to make sure the system could make it. So once I drop these two into here, our system can now make those items super easy. There is another thing you can add, and it's essentially a battery for your flux network itself. It holds power in your flux network. Your points and your plugs do not hold power. They have, if we look at them right here, I have a plug. It has a bar up in the top left where you see it's got 32 RF, 0 RF, and you would think that means it holds power. It does not. It's not holding power. It's instantly transmitting it from this plug to other points, right? So the plug is adding power to the network because this is our battery right now. I built an induction matrix with an elite power cell in it and an elite provider. So I am currently filled with 204 billion RF in here. And I'm using that to power everything else with this little plug here. Now, that is a simple example. Let me get a couple of these so I can go over it with you real fast. Flux points, flux plugs. So I'll show you. Right back here, I have our lava power production going, right? These little heat generators constantly produce power. That power is sent down the line to a plug. This plug is set up on the Havoc Power Production Network. And that's important because I'm producing power and pushing it into the production network here. Then, right over here at our induction matrix, right, I have a flux point. This provides power, and this is my power production network, which means that I am getting power from there to here, and it's going in, right? Power goes in to the plug, out of this point into the battery, and then it comes out of the battery into a plug and comes out in a whole lot of points in the power supply network, and that goes all over the place. Now that was a quick precursor to what's going on, and I wanted to cover these things. There is more to it. Like I said, there's a flux storage, and I have the gargantuan one kind of saved right over here just to show it. It holds 128 million FE, which you could throw that in your network. I'm not too worried about it because that's not how I'm storing power. I'm storing power here in an induction matrix, and then I provide it everywhere else that I need to provide it. Now, this thing can be upgraded even further. This is tiny. This is pretty much the smallest you can make. One energy cell in there and one provider inside of this thing. Now I can break it and I can show you. I will not lose any power. This thing is great. So you'll see right here's an induction cell, or yeah, this is the cell and this is the provider. They're both elite. Now I can upgrade those even further, and I'll show you. Look at that, all of its power still, because it stores the power in the block itself. I do need to change this before I forget, because breaking that and replacing it changed back to input. That's an output right there. So loads of power, really awesome. We're going to upgrade this thing to hold stupid amounts of energy at some point in time. It's very expensive to do so, but it's very much so worth it. But as you saw, I've got 204 billion RF. I don't have energy problems anymore. I can run my machines constantly and I don't have to worry about it. I have been working really hard on getting to that point, and you've probably noticed there's this crazy setup. I've been walking around over here with energizing rods and all. That's because I upgraded our reactor to nitro. This thing right now is generating 109,000 FE a tick. Now it's currently on, but it will turn itself off because of this mode. But I'm not going to just jump to the end there and show you, oh, look at this awesome thing I made. Today's episode, I'm going to show you how I did that, because I've learned a lot about POWAH, and I want to spread the love of knowledge about that right there. So if I come in here and I say at POWAH, you'll see I've got a whole bunch of recipes already made into my system. Now I'm going to show you guys exactly what I did, and I can actually change up my setup a little bit, because I have also figured out that you don't even need to have these energy cables from the power mod. You can use, oh, my battery, hold on, or not my battery, my magnet, give me all my stuff. You can use mechanism pipes, and they will, or power pipes, universal cable I should say, universal, and I've got elite universal cables. Let's grab all those out. You can use the mechanism power cables and it will hook right into it. And the POWAH power cables, so if I go at POWAH, they get pretty awesome. Like 200,000 FE a tick for the nitro cable is really cool, until you look at the fact that just elite universal cable moves 409,000 FE a tick, which is better than the fastest cable that POWAH has. So they're cool. I thought you had to use those cables to begin with to put the energizing rods on, but you don't have to. Now, let me go over the energizing rods for you so you can understand what's going on here. So in the power mod, I keep saying, I'm just going to call it the power mod, guys. You guys will know I'm saying POWAH, but that's just weird. I'm going to say power. In the power mod, you have these things called Energizing Orbs. The Energizing Orbs is a little thing that you're going to use to make other ingredients for this mod, because you'll probably notice it seems like everything follows a pattern of just being black, gray, you know, the orange, yellow, blue, green, and then red. And that's the tiers. Everything has a tier, starting from starter, which is your cheap, easy to get into stuff, and moves up to basic, hardened, blazing, niotic, spirited, and nitro. And that is for every machine in here. There are energy cells, those are batteries. There are ender cells, wireless batteries. I'm not really going to cover those because I'm not using them. I'm using the Flux network and I'm using an Induction Matrix, but feel free to look at them. They're pretty simple to do. They're upgradable from the standard one. All of these things are very easy. To get the basic capacitors, you're going to use iron. This entire mod starts with this right here, Dielectric Paste. This can be made with buckets of lava, coal or charcoal and clay, or blaze powder, coal and or charcoal with clay. Now, let's see, is it really more cost effective? I think it's more cost effective to do the lava bucket one. Yes, it is better to use the bucket of lava. However, it's easier for me just to use blaze powder, and so that's what I did. I plugged in a recipe for coal and blaze powder and clay balls in order to make it. this dielectric paste is the building block for this mod, because then you have the rods, which are made out of iron bars in this paste, and you've got the horizontal and you got the vertical, right? Horizontal, and well, the vertical is just the regular one. They are used to make a whole lot of things, including these casings with a little bit of iron. These casings are used to make pretty much every machine, really. And these, let's see right here, the capacitors are then used to make everything else. And you need these basic capacitors and large basic capacitors to make the better upgraded ones. So let me show you a good way you could get into this. If you guys remember, I made a basic reactor early on. Actually, it was a starter reactor, I think, right? Or did I go straight to basic because I could? I think I went straight to basic because I could. Or no, I actually went starter. But anyways, doesn't really matter. Super cheap to do. You get started, you get in there, and you need 36 of these things, right? So I have some in here. In fact, so yeah, I started with the starter one. When you get this, you make 36 of them, okay? So it makes 4 per this craft, so you need 9 sets of this craft in order to get the 36 you need. And then you look, and you see it kind of gives you this weird, it won't do it sometimes and it will others. That's because when you right click, it's going to build it for you. It auto builds the structure, which is awesome. And done. Now, this is the starter one. It's really simple. It runs off of your uraninite, and you can run just with uraninite. If you throw just uraninite in there and pump some power into it for coolant, it will produce you energy. However, it's not efficient that way. So you're going to want to add in some coal, some carbon. That increases the efficiency of your reactor, and it also increases the heat that it produces. That's what the plus 180C stands for. And you'll notice I'm not running very hot, even though I've got that in here, and I'll explain that in a second. Down here you've got redstone, right? This increases your fuel consumption, but it's not in a wasteful way. It's as in it makes it run through the fuel faster, but also produce power faster, right? So it's not making it wasteful. And that also adds heat, right? Then over here, though, you have a solid coolant block in here. And like I've said before in another video, you can use any kind of really solid coolant you want to get in here. You can use ice, snowballs, packed ice, blue ice, dry ice is the best. But you put one of those in here, and this drops the temperature down drastically so that you're not running hot. That combined with the wire that you have in here will keep this running cool and not wasting your uraninite really bad. Also, I would always recommend using auto mode up here in the top left. You can turn this off and it will just run, right? And it's just going to produce a bunch of power. But if you turn this on, when it gets full, it will stop and wait till it drops to 70% power before it kicks on again. And obviously that prevents you from wasting resources, so you really want to do that. Now, once you get your little starter reactor going over here, you can produce a little bit of power. You're going to want to store it in something. Like I said, if you're sticking with, if you're not into mechanism yet really far, you can always go with the power mod. They have their own batteries. Like this one will store 100,000 and can do 200 FE a tick, and it's dirt cheap. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can just start with the basic one. And that holds 1,000,000 FE, can do 2.5 million FE a tick in and out. So really simple, really easy to do, and you want to get you a battery going so you can store power, because once you get into making the Energizing Orbs and, well, Energizing Orb, why did I do that? I didn't mean to do that. Hold on, right here. Let's go ahead and make one and I'll just show you. Oops. Did not have, oh, I just don't have, hold on, just craft me a few of these. Come on now. I'm trying to make a video here. Alright. Energizing Orb is really cool, right? So it can be used to look cool because you can place things in it. Let's go ahead and I'll show you exactly what you should be placing in it to begin with. A little bit of gold, a little bit of iron. Because a piece of gold and iron, number one, it looks cool with some items floating around in there, but this is going to combine in order to make this right here, Energized Steel. Energized Steel is made in an Energizing Orb with 1 iron, 1 gold, and 10,000 Fe. And it'll take the 1 iron, 1 gold, and make 2. Now how does it do that? You don't actually put power into the Energizing Orb. What you do is you put down one of these, an Energizing Rod, on a power source. So if I come over here, I'm going to make one for you right here in front of you. A starter one. Right? I'll show you the recipe. It's a piece of nether quartz, another one of those casings, some tiny capacitors, and a dielectric rod. The first one's super cheap. It's very slow, but it's super cheap. Why do I have an E there? What happened? So, if I take this and plop it, you can put it on the side, you can put it on top, it really doesn't matter. But we need to link these two together. They have a wrench from the power mod that allows you to link. See, this one is linked to that one right now. I want it to link to this one. Out of range. Alright. Let's move it a little bit closer. Say right there. Put your 1 gold in, your 1 iron. And now I link them. Now you'll see, it says 1%, and then it's going up right below at the bottom of the screen. It's progressing. This right here is slow because we've got a starter rod. Now the starter rod can be upgraded. If you add the starter rod, another casing, some base capacitors, and a block of quartz, you get a basic one. And then you can go up the tiers. Hardened capacitors are just the energizing steel that we're making right now added to it. And then it moves up from there and you get a little faster. Now, there's a few downfalls to this. I tried automating this thing with hoppers. I tried automating it with mechanism pipes. The problem with that is that this right here can hold more than just one of each of the items. So if I grab a chest real fast and show you, I can also get logistical pipe. If I were to say, well, all I want to do is not put stuff in that machine. If all I wanted to do was to take out of this chest and put into here, and then I say I'm just going to throw a stack of each in, oh gosh, it threw all kinds of gold in there. And you'll notice it's not doing anything. It's because that's not the right recipe. So you can overfill it, right? And it becomes a problem. It took me forever to mess around with that and try and get it automated. And then I figured out you can use refined storage in order to automate it. So if you put a crafter, this is a regular crafter, aimed at the machine, and then I put the recipe in here. I told it, I came over here, and I put this to processing, and I said, hey, gold, just 1 gold, and just 1 iron will make you 2 energized steel. And then I hit the create, and it creates a blueprint, right, or a pattern. I'm going to delete that one because I've already got it, but I'll just show you how it works. And then I put that in here. And then I changed this crafter mode to say Redstone Pulse inserts the next set. And that's really important because otherwise the crafter would dump a bunch in there too. You only want it to put 1 in, or 1 set of what you need in there. And then the comparator, when it has 1 set in, it says, oh, whoa, sends out a signal, there's something in here. And this is a redstone transmitter, and this is a redstone receiver, and they're both set to channel 2. So when something's in here, this kicks on, sends a signal, and it locks this thing, and it says, hold on, wait until that's empty, and then you can set your next set in. And underneath it, I have an importer that is just with speed upgrades ready to the moment that finishes, take it out of there. So I have spent the time to upgrade rods. Let's get rid of this poor little baby rod here so that I can make very, very fast. Where did that other cable go? Did it go down in there? It's weird. Very, very fast rods. I don't have the final versions yet, although I could make them. I have found that these are quite quick on their own. Let's just toss them all in here, and then if I grab the wrench and look, this one is the only one that's out of range, and that's fine. No, not really, because I think this is my best one, right? Yeah, this is my 1 nitro one. We can put that on the side right there, and it should link up just fine. Yep. So they're all linking to this orb. As I said, this whole setup at POWAH is how you progress through the mod, and it's through these resources right here. This is it. This is the mod's progression. You make that Energized Steel, right? And that was the iron and gold. Then you can make blazing crystals, which are just either blaze powder or blaze rods, which is the better way to go. Blaze rod is cheaper, so you want to use blaze rods. Then you can move up and make diamonds into niotic crystals, 300,000 Fe in order to do that process. Emeralds make these spirited crystals, takes 1,000,000 Fe, and then you get to the expensive part. And the expensive part is the nether star, 2 blocks of redstone, a block of that blazing crystal you've already made, and 20 million RF or Fe in order to make 16 nitro crystals. This is the in-game component that's used to make all of their most powerful pieces, all of the nitro tier things, including my nitro tier reactor right over here. Take nether stars, blocks of redstone, and that block of blazing crystal. So I will demonstrate real fast. Let's craft up at POWAH something that's not going to take forever and a day to do. Maybe some spirited crystals. Let's just do one so I can just show you. There it is. All I did was tell it to make. It drops it in, makes it. It's really fast. I mean, it's done already. That's because I have a lot of the upgraded blazing rods. And then you can use those to make the upgraded things. Very, very powerful mod. Made even that much easier with the crafters from Refined Storage. It's really helpful, and this has allowed me to get my 204 billion RF stored up, and I got a whole bunch right over here too. What is that, 63 million sitting here, and I can store more and produce a lot more. And I'm going to probably upgrade these rods to the final level when I figure out a way to automate nether stars, and that's going to be just a little bit. Right now I'm killing wither bosses with my wonderful vibranium sword, which is so overly enchanted I don't even want to think about it. It is insane and it's awesome, but y'all can just take a look at what I've got on that right there and understand how good that sword is. Amazing. So that's the POWAH mod in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm not covering everything. Ooh, I will cover one last thing, and that is the player transmitter. This wonderful block, right, player transmitter, has tiers just like everything else, and each tier is upgraded from the original. You build the original and then you use the original in order to make all the tiers going up. You just upgrade it. And the original takes an aerial pearl, and it says use an aerial pearl on a zombie or husk, and it's no joke. That's what it means. If you look in here and you say aerial pearl, or if I just do at POWAH, because I know I'm horribly misspelling it, this one right here that's kind of grayed out, if you take this, you make it, hopefully it's nighttime. I don't know if it's nighttime or not. Let's see, dome surface, it's not nighttime. Well, let me just drop down in here. It's dark in here. We're looking for a zombie, right? So you just kind of cruise around. Let me just show you my sword. One hit, creeper heads, catalyzing glands, gunpowder, fire shards. It's crazy how much loot you get from it. But yeah, you look for a zombie. What is this? You're a boss mob, a drowned. This is a really neat little dungeon-ish thing that I haven't noticed before. But yeah, if there was a zombie in here, that would be great, because all you got to do really is you right-click on a zombie. I hear it. I hear a zombie. I see one right here. Y'all are zombie brutes. You don't help. Oh, I killed the zombie, of course. Hold on. Zombie, right-click on him. We captured him. We're getting out of here. That turns... Oh! Huh. Yeah, so... it left that behind. Because my inventory was full. Be careful about that if you teleport away. Anyways, you saw it. I right-clicked on the zombie. It captures it into that pearl. And then you have the other one right here, the aerial pearl, which is used in order to make the actual player transmitter. And then you need to make a binding card. It's a blank card, which is just 2 rods side by side, makes a blank card, and then 2 redstone and some rotten flesh. You get a regular binding card. You right click with it and it becomes yours. Then you can upgrade it by taking that binding card, and as it says right here, use it on an enderman or endermite. So you right click on an enderman or an endermite. It's really easy to do when you go to the end, and it becomes a dimensional binding card. The dimensional binding card bound to you can be placed inside of a player transmitter, and this will power anything in your inventory anywhere you are. Any dimension, doesn't matter. It will take power out of my system here and send it directly to anything that I need power. My jetpack, my grid, my mining gadget, anything will receive power from here. And this thing can be upgraded. Right now it holds 5 million and moves 20,000 FE a tick. That's crazy good. I'm at this point, I'd never run out of power. And I can upgrade that thing more, but it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that is one of the best things in this mod pack that I've seen for moving power. I was thinking about building these batteries before I found out about the player transmitter there, because these batteries, I'm fairly certain if you keep in your inventory, they will charge the things in your inventory. But then I found out about the the player transmitter, like I said, and the dimensional card, and clearly much better to simply move power from your system straight to you from anywhere that you are. So absolutely amazing. Love it. Really powerful and not that hard to do once you really get into it and dig into it, and you can auto craft a lot of the recipes. I hope this video has been helpful for everyone. If you did enjoy it, feel free to hit that like button. I do appreciate it. And if you would like to, you can subscribe to my channel to see my videos on the regular. And as always, I will see you all next time.